Yes, Al Capone, Al Capizzi. Oh boy, welcome to another edition of Memphis Rap History. This is not live, as you can see. I am on the road, but I made sure to make a pre-recorded show for you all. And today we're going to be doing a phone interview, one of my first phone interviews, and it would be with a legendary artist that doesn't get a lot of recognition that he should get, but we gonna talk to him today and he gonna drop jewels. He goes by the name of Icy K. So y'all stay tuned and check out this interview, man, with Al Capone, Al Capizzi. Oh boy, Memphis Rap History. Lock and loaded, let's go. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, Icy K.
What it do? What it do? What
What's
it do?
happening
What
with you,
it do?
man?
I can't call it, man. First off, I'm Marquis Granberry, aka also known as Icy K in the rap scene. A lot of people know me from other areas of walk, but right now we talking about Memphis hip hop, so we gonna stick to that script. I'm one of the pioneers of Memphis rap. Before it was gangster rap, it was regular rap. It wasn't no such thing as shoot 'em up, bang bang, or gangster walking, or none of that. I'm from that era.
First and foremost, let me say thank you for clarifying that Memphis rap is not. It didn't start in the street culture. It started as just an expression of rapping and representing, expressing yourself as an MC, and
Right,
I let you take it from there.
right.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, for sure. I'm from the era when you turn the radio on, you heard a group called Cosmo Crew, and they were saying, "Wiki, wiki, 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 shut up now, wiki, 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 shut up now."
Yes, sir.
I was like, I remember being 11, 12 years old. Me and my partner, Chuck D, we said, "Hey man, we're gonna start us a group and we're gonna call it the Cosmo Crew." And he had a set of drums, and him and Mac Fields and a couple more people, they would come by the house when moms was at work. You know how it was back in the day. We couldn't have company in the house, so we sneak everybody in when moms come go to work. You know what I'm saying? And
There's some real stuff right there. Oh, I so resonate.
Yeah.
What part of Memphis are you in at this point too?
Right now I was over there by the airport off of Tuklahoma, you know what I'm saying, over there, and we called it the sub, the sub, Memphis sub. Shout out to the sub, you know what I'm saying. And in that time, a lot of people was migrating from the south side of Memphis to that area, because at that time, it was Caucasians in the neighborhood, so it wasn't but a handful of us blacks in the hood at that time, And we used to. I had my dad had a harmonica, and Chuck D had a set of drums, so we'd be in the kitchen just rapping. When I come to town, I'm in my big Pinto. It said Cosmo Crews come to fuck them hoes. Chuck D, that was his line. You know what I'm
For
saying?
real, man.
Yeah,
Damn. Those are the exact. You really remember, huh?
Yeah, I'm really remembering, man. You know what I'm saying? And we went through a whole 2 summers, just rapping. We wasn't trying to come out with no rap CD or tape. We was just having fun as kids, 11, 12 years old, About the age of 13, 14, that's when Run DMC hit the scene, That could have been like 84, 85 when Run DMC hit the scene. And by that time, I formed another group with two more partners, and we called ourselves the Devastating Three. It was me, Monty Foots, and a guy named Chad Taylor, God rest his soul. And at that time, I became Icy K. You know what I'm saying? I was like in the 7th grade. You know what I'm saying? So it was different little things going on in the community, and they knew that we could perform and stuff like that, and they would have us to come out and do raps at different company picnics and things of that nature. We was at that time called the Devastating Three. Speeding up the story, by the time I was in the 8th grade, me, Chuck D, Mac Fields, and Pimp Dave. Sometimes we used to ride our bikes to the Mall of Memphis. and when we ride our bikes to the Mall of Memphis, I would meet one guy, and I'd be walking around with my Kango hat. You know what I'm saying? Trying, just
Representing that
be
hip hop.
representing. You know what I'm saying? Thought I was one of the coldest rappers in Memphis in that era.
Okay, and that's what
Yeah,
Icy K is all about. You was the
yeah.
coldest.
Yeah. I was one of the coldest. That's what I named myself, Icy K. You know what I'm saying? Got that name off of that freeze pop. You remember that freeze pop that we used to eat in school, in elementary school? It was called an icy bird. It was a it was an orange freeze pop. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted a name that was cold. You know what I'm saying? So while I was eating, I said, man, let me look on this thing and see what the name of this thing is. And it was called an icy bird. It was orange freeze pop that we used to eat in elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I became, I named myself Icy K. But in the Mall of Memphis, man, I used to run up on this cat named Tony O'Shea. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you know Tony O'Shea or y'all know Tony O'Shea, but Tony O'Shea, he was a rapper as well at that time. You know what I'm saying? And me and Tony O'Shea, we used to always meet up and battle rap every weekend. We battle rap. My partner give me a beatbox and we battle rap. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We battle rap. That went on like a good year or two, and I remember, you know what I'm saying, vaguely, and I know this could be verified, but Zerk and Squeaky was standing over to the side. You know what I'm saying? I used to remember curly haired Zerk coming into the mall, and he's like, "Hey, go Icy K, hey, go Icy K." You know what
For
I'm saying? What's up,
real.
Icy K?
Wow.
Yeah. That folk. I don't
So,
know
so
if
you
they was
saying so
doing.
you saying that people that knew who Icy K was if he
Yeah.
was saying it like
Oh.
that.
Oh yeah. Because even at that time, we would do the beatboxing that we'd be rapping every weekend. And back in the day, everybody mama used to drop them off at the Mall of Memphis. And we'd be walking around in the Mall of Memphis. So I was known as the rapper in the Mall of Memphis. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Walking around in the Mall of Memphis. You know what I'm saying? And their progress to being 15 years old and DJing ambassador parties. My cousin Ice Cream Bandit, God rest his soul. We formed a group called the Celsius Crew. Me, him, and Chili D. You know what I'm saying? Formed a group called the Celsius Crew, and our
Man,
older
all y'all
cousin.
got these cold names, man.
Yeah,
Everybody was
cold
cold, huh?
names, man. Cold
Everybody was
names.
cold.
Yeah, cold Celsius Crew. You know what I'm saying? You got the Ice Cream Bandit, Chili D, and Icy K. You know what I'm saying? And we used to DJ them ambassador parties, and I remember vaguely, and this could be verified. We going over to the Graceland Mountain and DJing parties. Now, who stayed in the Graceland Mountain? None other than Patrick Hall himself, Gangster Pat.
And when you say ambassador parties, what are
Am-
ambassador? Who are
The
the?
ambassadors was a prep group
That's what I thought. I just wanted to
out of Hamilton High School. They
Gotcha.
came out of Hamilton High School. So my older cousins had was graduating in '84 and '86, and we used to DJ. We used to DJ their parties, and my cousin was the DJ, and I was the MC. Somebody say ho ho. We wasn't like 14, 15 years old, and I'm remembering like at a swim party. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
A rap group was there. I can't remember who it was. It could have been one of the psycho groups or somebody. And they said, "Ice K over there." We battle rapped in the swim party at the ambassador's party. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And we was just running around. Now that was before that gangster rap scene. That
Mm-hmm.
gangster rap scene came on. Wasn't no Easy and no gangster
No
walking.
NWAs and none of
No
that.
NWA, none of that. Everybody was trying to be like LL Cool J, Run DMC, and Curtis Blow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. True.
you
True.
know,
True.
you know what I'm saying. That's who we looked up to. But I'm remembering this vaguely. By the time I was like 17, 18, Chill had went to school, and I was a solo rapper. You know what I'm saying? Just still rapping, and I'm the great nephew of David Porter, which was one of the uh, co-founders of Stacks, and he had a studio downtown, and I was just still interested, and I would go to his studio
Hold on.
and
Before you go to his studio, you mentioned Graceland Manor, and it was a guy by the name of Patrick Hall there. What was your interaction? And this
yeah.
was before you went solo, right?
Yeah. That's when I was solo. Back then, I can't remember if Pat was rapping or not, man. But I remember that night vaguely. He didn't rap that night. He didn't rap that night, and we could have been like 14, 15 years old, but he reminded me, hey man, I remember you back in the day being in the Graceland Mountain. I was like, yeah, you was over there. And we
Yeah,
just
yeah.
start reminiscing, you know what I'm saying? But I believe it was one of the rap groups that he ended up being in, and things of that nature. Could have been a Mac 10 over there or somebody, but I don't remember the names, because we was just rapping,
Yeah,
having fun, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And and when Pat hit the scene, that's when gangster rap in Memphis kind of
We ain't there yet
took
though.
his
We ain't
head.
there.
Yeah, we ain't there yet.
You now you going down to your family David Porter studio downtown, and you
Right, right.
solo at this point, right?
Yeah, I'm solo at this point. And let me clarify something. While I was solo, me and my cousin used to write raps for me all the time. Roland Robinson, he would write raps for me all the time, and my uncle liked the way that he wrote. So he would say, "Hey man, why don't y'all let him write him, and you just rap him." You know what I'm saying? And we had come up with a song. So I want to say that was in that Ronald Reagan day, back in that day, say no to drugs day, back in that time, and they was looking for positive influence to push that movement, and we had wrote a song called 5 Minutes After Death, and it was like a song like, saying say no to drugs and things of that nature, and I'm remembering Ernest Singleton liking the song, and my uncle had a relationship with Ernest Singleton, and he was with MCA Records,
Okay.
and uh, and we were doing the beat off a 505 drum machine, but and my uncle was real cool with a guy from the Barcades named James Alexander,
Okay. Who
and
making the beats on this 505 drum machine?
man, we was making the beats, me and my cousin, with a Lisa's drum machine at that time,
I remember the
he, we,
Lisa's.
yeah, we was making the beats ourselves, and that leads me to this. That's a good question now, because that leads me to this. When we made that song 5 Minutes After Death, but we was like, we need something, a better beat or something of that nature. And my uncle was like, well, James got a rapper named uh man, got a rapper named Kid Money, and Kid Money got a got a got a got a producer named Scratch Machine King.
So hold up. So when y'all
SMK.
did the 5 minutes after death, that was around that time.
Yeah, we did the 5 Minutes After Death, and James had Kid Money. You know what I'm saying? And then Scratch Machine King came to town. That's what the SMK stand for,
Yeah,
Scratch Machine King.
yeah.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
actually did it. I interviewed him, and he
Right.
what you're saying
Yeah.
about Kid Money and him coming to town is
Yeah.
exactly what he said. And
Yeah.
and Scratch Machine King exactly what he said it
Yep. That's what the
originally stood
SMK.
for.
Yeah. And when he came to town, uh, he made a beat for the 5 Minutes After Death song. You know what I'm saying? And one thing led to another. We all grew older, and we departed. But I'm remembering, like, me and Sean and another cousin D Frost, we used to all be together, and we go to the club No Name with our fake IDs. You know what I'm saying? And Sean stayed somewhere downtown,
But hold up,
somewhere.
if this happened during that time, that means this was around when the mixes was being played on the radio by one was Sonny D had his show, and
Yeah.
also Spanish Fly and Rated J had they show where
Bingo.
they
Bingo.
broadcast from No
Bingo.
Name. So this is
Yeah.
around that time. So
Right.
this is when okay, that it's making sense because at this point nobody had completely kind of I guess broke out in a major way
Nah.
at that point.
Nah. But nobody but Gangsta Pat.
But no,
Nobody
there
but
was
Gangsta Pat.
because at that time was a little bit for what you speaking on. Well, I think it was Gangsta Pat at that time.
Pat was out.
Okay,
Pat was out.
let's bring it back then.
Yeah,
What
Pat was
do
out.
you remember when cable vid? Because this is some stuff that I remember a little before Gangsta Pat broke out. Well, number one, do you remember the 21st Century? Because that was a little before Gangsta Pat broke out.
Yeah. That was the 21st century.
Speak
Matter
on
of
that a
fact,
little
we
bit.
used to DJ. We DJed the 24th century first, and then Squeaky came after us.
And was that when, because at 21st Century originally was in Fraser, North Memphis. I didn't go to 21st Century when they were there. I went to 21st Century when they were on Winchester up the street from the Getwell Garden.
When they came to Winchester, I don't know how it happened, but we got reached out by a guy named Drew McCraven.
Ah,
You know what
Drew.
I'm saying?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, we got reached out by a guy named Drew McCraven, and and Drew had heard, that we were DJing stuff around the town. You know what I'm saying? And that's when he called us. We wasn't even old enough to drive a car then. We were like 15 years old. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That was around about how old I was at the time.
Yeah, because he called us to come DJ. He might have been at one of them parties or something that we was doing back then. But back then, my cousin Ice Cream Bandit, he was the DJ.
So were you there when the X Clan came? I remember the X Clan came to 21st Century. Were you there at that point around? Well, I know you were there, but did you come to that particular event?
I don't remember. What you mean the X Clan?
The group, the X Clan, came to the 21st Century and performed, and they had this petition type of thing they wanted everybody to sign. I don't forget exactly what it was about, but I remember being there, seeing it, and I just remember, it was X Clan and Van Glorious. I was like amazed that it was some rappers that was nationally known right at the 21st Century performing. It was, I know it was amazing for me to see that, visually, to see somebody that was that nationally known that I had listened to before they even came.
Well, more than likely I was there, but I can't see it in my mind.
And it was outside in the parking lot, and it was in the back parking lot.
I remember being in the parking lot, and I remember when you came with your album and you did something out there in that same parking lot later on after that. Yep. I remember being there.
Well, let me ask you another thing. Well, go ahead. You finish that, then I'm gonna ask you another thing because I'm trying to predate before Spanish Fly kind of started blowing up and before Gangsta Pat really popped off. So I'll let you finish that, then I'm gonna ask you another question before then.
I remember taking SMK. At this time, I'm 16 years old because I'm old enough to drive a car.
Hold on. Now you jumping. I don't want you to jump this year.
I'm at 15. I'm at 15 now. Now I'm going to 16.
Okay, before you do that.
That's before Pat now.
Okay, this before Pat. Let me ask you another thing before Pat. And then we'll remember the 16, the SMK, because I think some of this stuff happened before SMK came to town. Do you remember when Cablevision at the time, well, there's a couple of different things happened that I remember.
I rapped on the Cablevision station too.
Huh?
I rapped on that Cablevision station.
Okay, that's why I want to. Well, let's go and talk about that, and then I'm gonna go back to some of the citywide talent shows.
I can't remember the name of that thing.
But I remember W Def is the one that won.
I remember W Def.
W Def won it, and I was like, man, that man
W Def won it. Right.
I wanted to win bad above, but W Def won.
Yeah, W Def won. I remember that like yesterday. We was on the same we was all going against each other, on that cable vision thing.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I had a record at that time called "Do You Understand Me?" You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Yep, I had a record, and that's what I did on the on that cable vision. If you said the name, I say yeah, that's it. But if you don't say it, I'd be like, down, that ain't the name.
Yeah,
But
that's why I want to bring up all of this was pre. You know what I'm saying? The what's
before,
considered the Memphis
before,
rap underground sound
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
This happened
yeah,
before the, and if you was a hip
yeah,
hop person
yeah.
in the city, you wanted to be
Right.
a part of that.
Oh, for sure, for sure, for sure. Yeah, that was before all of that. Yeah, that was before. Yeah, that was definitely before any bass drum came. You know what I'm saying? That's before all of that.
Yeah, yeah. And I just remember W Def was like one of those first names I heard that had got to me got citywide attention because he won. It was like,
Right,
his
right,
name
right, right.
rang then to me as a person that wanted to know that was in as a rapper before the Memphis rap scene. His name rang, and I do remember
But
also citywide talent shows that.
let me let me
Go
let
ahead.
me bring let me bring you to some more history
Yes,
that
sir.
a lot of people don't know. Uh, see. I believe that the Lord move in mysterious ways for different people on different avenues.
Mm-hmm.
That's going on different avenues.
Mm-hmm.
I remember in 1987, going into 1988, I met a guy named Daryl Jackson, and I wasn't but 15 years old then. Now, now Daryl Jackson had the 808 drum machine. He stayed over there by Corey High School, and me and my rap group would go over to Daryl Jackson house. Daryl Jackson was one of the first people that showed us how to print your records. This guy was like 18 years old, talking about, man, I'm finna press up 1,000 records with this place called Dixie up in Nashville, and these records cost like 75 cents a piece or something like that.
Wow.
He was on that level. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? He was pressing up his own record, and he had a record back then called Terminator. That could have been 87, 88. But I had one line on this record, and it was, I said something on one of the records. I said, "Man, you illin', man. That's totally whack." You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
You know
thank
what
you
I'm
for
saying?
shouting out. You said Daryl
Yeah.
Jackson.
Yeah, Daryl Jackson. He also known as DDJ, DJ Flex. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, that's dope.
That
That's
was
dope.
he had a record in 87, 88. You know what I'm saying? He one of the real
We
pioneers. You
got to
know what
give
I'm
him
saying? In
credit. That's
DJ.
what I'm
Yeah,
talking
for sure,
about.
for sure, for sure. Them real
Yes,
old school pioneers. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about
yes,
like super old school pioneers.
that's dope. I
In
love
the
that.
in the in the early 80s, the 85, 87. You know what I'm saying? What about them guys? You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? Yeah,
yes, exactly,
yeah, yeah.
exactly. And
For
and,
sure, for
and let me
sure.
say this: anybody that's listening to this interview, if it's any other unsung early, whether they're rappers or DJs or whatever in that mid '80s, leading up to the late '80s that that need to be mentioned, please let us know. You know what I'm saying? Because that's we want to represent the whole Memphis scene. Like I said, we definitely want to give props to the pre-Memphis underground rap scene because there was a whole rap community in Memphis
All right.
before that. So you just
Yeah,
gave
yeah.
super flowers to somebody that needed it.
Oh, for
And he
sure, for
talking about
sure, for
pressing
sure.
his own. He was on
He,
it.
mine, yeah, mine, and then later on by 94 to 95, 1989. Uh, I want to say it was 88 to 89, maybe 89 at the latest is when Pat hit the scene.
Okay, now before we go there,
Yeah, but I'm,
let's go
I'm
back to
just
the
I'm
city.
just making sure we don't go before after that. You know
Gotcha.
what I'm saying?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, you know what I'm
Exactly.
saying.
So,
Right.
do you remember the citywide talent shows that used to happen? Because I remember, reason why I asked, I remember Jazze Pha and his brother was known by
Yeah,
the group name Coast to Coast. And
yeah,
they
they was
used to
known
win
for
a lot of
coast to
talent
coast.
shows back then. You know what I'm saying? This
All right,
before
now check.
Memphis rap scene.
Now check this out. Now check this out.
Okay.
Check this out.
All right.
Phelan Coast to Coast. That's James Alexander's son.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I went to Wooddale Junior High, you know what I'm saying, at 13, 14 years old. And Phelan, uh, and his brother, which I ain't hardly never meet his brother. They ended up coming, I guess, to stay with their dad, which is James Alexander. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? And the
Yep.
Barcades, you
Legendary.
know what I'm saying?
Legendary.
Yep, yep, yep. And and needless to say, they were staying like 2, 3 doors down from where me, Dara Jackson, and then we got DJ Hawk. You know what I'm saying? Big up to DJ Hawk, Marlon Hawkins. You know what I'm saying? He was DJing back in that day too. They stayed on the same street Hawk stayed on. You
Really?
know what I'm saying? Yeah, like on the same street over there in the Alsa community. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? I'm just
Wow.
taking you deep. You know what I'm saying? And and I would hear about this cat. And back then, you know, we were writing our raps. You know what I'm saying? We were writing our raps on a piece of paper and we'll memorize all the raps we can memorize. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I had heard he had done came to town from New York or wherever Phelan was coming from. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, ain't nobody gonna beat me rapping. Ain't nobody gonna beat me rapping. You know what I'm saying? And like I was in the ninth grade. And he had came when he was in when he was in 11th grade over there at Wooddale High School. And I had heard he can rap real good. And one day at the uh, a football game over there at Highland State off Mount Moriah, we finally met.
Okay, here it
Yeah,
goes.
we finally met, bro. We finally met. So I was like, yeah, what's up, sucker? You know what I'm saying back then. What's up, sucker MC, such and such and such. Me and Fayla, you know what I'm saying. And I'm remembering vaguely, you know what I'm saying. I said my rap, you know, I said my rap. I had done wrote, you know what I'm saying. I had done wrote my rap. I was ready for him. I said my rap that I had wrote. And dude said, hold on. After that rap, he said, hold on. I don't need no beatbox. That local joker started beating on his chest and rapped about everything I had on from my head to my toe.
Ooh, freestyling. Real
Freestyle.
freestyling.
Freestyling. And I
Ooh.
man, and I had never seen nothing like that. I got back at that time, my partner was driving, man. That was a sad ride all the way back to the house. Cause
Jazze
I
Pha to
was
murk you. That what you telling me
Man, he
right
murked me, man. He murked me, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Murked me. You know what I'm saying? Murked me, man. Bad, man, in front of a crowd. You know what I'm
Man,
saying?
he made his own beat on his chest and he
Man, he
freestyling.
beat on his chest, man, and was rapping, man, and talked about me from head to my toe. I got in the car that night and I was like, how did nigga make that stuff up in his head like that?
Damn.
How he make that stuff up in his head like that?
Damn.
And I started to practice at that time. You know what I'm saying? At that time, I started to practice. Man, let me think about what I'm gonna say before I say it. You know what I'm saying?
He said that ain't finna
Man,
happen again.
no, man, and it did, and right after that, man, is I was the beginning of Icy K freestyling. You know what I'm saying?
Ah,
Running
that's a
around the
dope
city
story, man.
freestyling,
That's a
man.
dope
Yeah,
story right there.
yep.
All
I'm
right. Now
factual.
I'm out the way. I mentioned a couple of things that predated, the Memphis underground rap scene, and those were some real cool stories right there. I just, we got to make sure people know that this
Mhm.
scene was already bubbling. You know what I'm saying? It just
Oh yeah, for
developed
sure,
into what it
for sure.
developed into.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was already bubbling, man. You know, it just wasn't as wide span. You know, people was in different areas, and we were kids at that time, so it just depended on how the children was connected. You know, because you got to realize the rap at that time it wasn't no older. It wasn't our parents' thing.
Yeah,
It was
exactly,
on. It was our thing. And
exactly.
if our mamas didn't drop us off, we couldn't connect with each other.
Yeah, yeah. What do you remember
Yeah.
about the M Team? Because that's another thing that predates the Memphis underground rap scene. Songs like Samurai Suzuki. What do you remember about what's going on when you was? Do you remember them? And then what do you remember about what was going on with you when you may have
You,
heard them?
you might I might have to hear one of their songs or something, or you tell me one of the rappers' name or something.
It was Boo and Archie Mitchell. They went by the name of M Team.
Well, I know Boo and Archie Mitchell real well, but I don't remember them having no rap group at that time,
Okay, yeah,
And you got to realize Boo and Archie Mitchell, man, straight off South Parkway now. Over there, a whole different era over there,
Yeah, gotcha, gotcha.
So
Now they
again,
were getting that Samurai Suzuki song and the song "Can I Kick It" was actually getting some radio play. They
oh,
were like some of
that
the
was
first
them.
people that I heard
Yeah,
getting radio play
yeah,
from Memphis. I was like,
yeah.
hold up,
Oh, yeah.
they
Now
from
when you say,
Memphis?
can I kick it? You
Yeah,
talking about can I kick it? Yes, you
yes,
can.
yeah.
That can
No,
I?
no, not that kind of. That's the New York.
Okay,
I think that's the New
okay,
York. Can I kick it? But
okay, okay.
it was something like that to that effect. But they were like the first people that I heard on the radio
Bet.
before anybody just and they were literally getting radio play. And of course,
Right, right.
we know why.
Yeah, right.
Their pops was Willie Mitchell. You know, he got the plug.
Yeah, for sure,
He
for
the
sure.
plug.
Yeah. Willie Mitchell, the infamous God rest his soul. Big ups to Willie Mitchell and his children, God rest his soul. Willie Mitchell, he back in that back in that era,
Yeah,
them Al Green days, you
most
know what I'm
definitely,
saying?
most definitely, most definitely.
Uh-huh.
So yeah,
Yeah,
big shout out to him. All right, now back to
yeah,
you. I just had to ask a couple of key questions about things
right,
that happened before. All right, so back
right.
to you where you are now. I think you mentioned you in SMK or something.
Right. When time progressed, and I believe Pat, I remember Pat coming down to the studio too. When I in
What studio?
'89, down at Uncle Dave's studio.
Okay.
Matter of fact, when Ernest Singleton came to town, he was at the meeting as well. You know what I'm saying? He was there as well. But he was big at that time. He was out there. You know what I'm saying? And but SMK had done come and one storyline I wanted to get out and uh SMK was in the back of the Mustang, and we would go to the to the club, to Club No Name, get in there, and he'd be like, "What the hell them niggas doing?
I was
What them niggas
that was
doing?"
about to be my question. What did outside of what he asked you?
Mhm.
What is your visual as you're going into you underage and you're going into
Right.
No Name? What are you seeing? What's the vibe? And I just want
Man,
to feel like I'm there with you right
man,
now.
I was tall for my age. You know what I'm saying? At that time, I could have been like 16, maybe even 17 years old. And we go in there with our blue light IDs. You know what I'm saying? Back then they was having that uh, the strip tease show. You
Any
know what
winning,
I'm
teeny
saying?
winning, big Keenan contest.
Yeah, for sure. Raider J be was say it's a tie. You know what I'm saying?
But what did you
Yeah,
thinking?
man.
You looking at this like what is your
Bang,
what is
man. We was just having fun, bro. We was just having fun. And back then it wasn't no such thing as no gangster walk because the first name of that walk was called the bovine walk.
mm-hmm,
You know what I'm saying? From my recollection now.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Then it went from the bovine walk to the buck jump to the to the to the gangster walk. That's
Gotcha,
just my recollection.
gotcha.
But I remember SMK and big up to SMK. I always want to tell this story, SMK being in the car with me and on the way back, take him downtown. He was like, "Hey K man, why you ain't got no song about that dance?" You know what I'm saying? About
Mm,
that dance.
mm,
And I was like, man, I just never really thought about it. And he wrote that song Gangster Walk for
mm-hmm,
Kid Money.
mm-hmm,
He wrote that song,
mm-hmm,
took that Easy beat and chopped it up and wrote that song for Kid Money and called that song
mm-hmm,
Gangster Walk. You know what I'm
mm-hmm,
saying?
mm-hmm.
That's 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 the real story there. You
Wow,
know what I'm
wow,
saying?
wow.
Yep. But again, he went on to do his thing. I think James Alexander, well, I know I ain't no think. James Alexander put that song out. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm,
saying?
mm-hmm,
Up under his label. And then something happened and SMK came with a second version. And
mm-hmm.
he and Hills got his zick by Ike on in North
You're
Memphis.
right,
Them
you're right.
facts there, bro.
Yep.
Them facts.
Ike's Record Shop. Shout out
Yeah.
to Ike's Record Shop, man. Shout out to Ike.
Yeah. So I was in that a little bit, but I never did do that do a gangster walk song, but that that's how that came about.
So
That's that.
so at that time period, did you ever come to? Because I think around that time, that's when that whole OTS thing was starting to, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, Pat had kind of popped off at that point, but so OTS
Right,
was a thing because
right,
we went from 21st century to OTS because I
right,
was in a group with Psycho and
right,
Psycho, Reginald Boylan wanted Psycho to be the in-house producer because I think him and Pat
right.
had fell out or whatever.
And
But
I don't know why y'all didn't come over there and get me.
I was about to ask you, did you ever come? Did you ever
I
come?
never came, man. I
Damn.
never came, man.
Hey,
There's one thing I think I missed. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, I missed my thing or not.
it was
You know what
legendary.
I'm saying? I was so caught up in myself that I didn't really want to be around other people
Real,
doing the same thing,
but
but
you know
I
what?
should have though.
Real MCs thought like that back then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like, I'm the best. I ain't going over there with them cats. But
Them
everything
sucker
in it.
MCs.
They ain't from the 80s. They ain't from the early 80s. You know. You know what I'm saying? But big ups to everybody at Reginald Boylan over there at OTS for making it possible. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Whatever hand he played in and making it happen. You know what I'm saying? You
hmm
know, because it was beautiful. You know what I'm saying? It was a beautiful movement. You know what I'm
It
saying?
was. It was. It
Yeah,
was.
yeah, yeah,
It was
yeah.
cool being in the actually being there to see it and witnessing, you know, witness A Ball and MJG. Actually,
Hmm.
I knew A Ball coming through there first, and then eventually MJG, you know, was coming around, and then at some point they formed A Ball and MJG. But before,
Then SMK do your song Lyrical Drive By?
yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. It was, I definitely, man. When I heard Gangsta Walk, I was like, whoever did the drums on that. Cause I know, I just remember, like you said, we made a lot of beats on the Elisa's drum machine, or
Yeah.
keyboard beats, or even the TR 808. So
and, and I
the
want to give you your flowers while you talking, man. I wasn't a big fan of gangster rap. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm,
But as I got older, I listened to the lyrics of your song. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people just listen to the beat. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? They
yeah.
just listen to the beat. See, you was a sneak gangster rapper, man. You,
I was one of
you,
those
you went on a lyrical drive,
a
man.
lyrical. It was you know what I'm saying? I was using metaphors to talk about social things. That's what I
There
really
you
was
go.
doing.
Yeah, yeah,
But I was
exactly.
using street
You wasn't
metaphors.
no. Yeah,
I was not
yeah,
I was
exactly.
never a gangster rapper. I
There
was
you
more
go.
of a rapper from
I
the
was gonna let
hood.
you say it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
was never. But the name Al Capone was probably not the best name to choose.
yeah, 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 yeah,
because you
yeah,
hear that, you automatically think gangster, gangster.
yeah.
Simple as that. But
Yeah,
I was
yeah. I
always a
challenge
hood.
anybody to go back and listen to the lyrics of
Real
that
talk,
main song, "Lyrical Drive By."
real talk.
He wasn't going on a physical drive by. He was going on a lyrical drive by.
And it was on. I was being from the hood. It was
Yeah,
about rapping about the social things that were against
yeah.
people from the hood. So I'm finna go on a lyrical
Right.
drive-by on all of those issues. So I was
Yeah.
more of a social, political type of hood rapper that
Right.
had,
Right.
but talked about. I used street metaphors
There you
instead. You know what
go.
I'm saying? That's all it was. But the name
Yeah.
Al
Yeah. For
Capone did
sure.
not help. People understand
Yeah.
the difference.
But the song was hot, man. Big up to Al Capone. You know what I'm
For
saying?
sure,
The
I
song was
appreciate it.
hot, bro.
I
Yeah.
appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about when one of the first cassettes that I saw you on, because what made me notice it, you was the first person I saw that had a album cover where you were on Beale Street. I was like, that's so hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
man
Yeah.
album cover.
Yeah.
He took his album cover on Beale Street, man. It was, to
Yeah.
me, it was so Memphis. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
talk
Right.
to me
Right.
when
Right.
around that
Yeah.
time, what was going on and how
Matter of
that
fact,
developed.
I'm gonna bag you up a slot, and I'm gonna send you a copy of it. Actually, that was the second record that I had done put out.
Okay.
The first record was a record called "I Control the Radio," and it had another song on the flip side called My Kind of Music.
Mm.
I took that album cover on the river with the Memphis Bridge in the back.
Oh, damn! You one of the first to do that.
Yeah, that's in that record happened in 1990, 91.
Wow,
Yeah, yeah,
too
yeah.
cool.
That's in and again, I never had no financial bagging to bag me up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I had took it back to calling my partner Daryl Jackson and saying, "Hey man, where they press them records up at? Like where
Darren
they
Jackson
press them?
back in the.
Where they press? Yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
very
yeah,
important. That
yeah,
was
yeah,
he was very
yeah,
important.
yeah, man. And I press them up. I pressed them up myself, and then take them over there to Pop Tunes and put them on consignment. You know
Mm,
what I'm saying?
mm.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yes, sir.
I was my own executive producer.
Yeah.
Then speeding up to 1995 is when uh is when I put out the record with me standing on Beale Street. I always wanted to represent Memphis. You know what I'm saying? Yep,
And
yep,
those
yep.
two great ways to do it: the front of the bridge and Beale Street.
And I kind of copied you on one of my songs on that album because I called the song "The Mind of a Player." You know what I'm saying?
Uh huh. Uh
The
huh.
mind of a player, where I was using street, as you would say, street metaphors
Yeah.
to talk about a pimp in the streets. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But it really was me talking about my rap career. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
How you know, and it was talking about me rapping. If you listen to it, it'd be talking about me failing as a rapper, me succeeding as a rapper, and what God was telling me to do as a rapper. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Wow. But the
Yeah.
title is Mind of a Player.
The title is Mind of a Player, man.
But
It's
that what you
Mind of
just
a
said
Player.
didn't sound nothing about like it was about no player stuff. It sounded,
Yeah, yeah.
but I feel where you going. It's the metaphor, street
It,
metaphors.
it was street metaphors used talking about a player in the streets, you know what I'm saying? But it really was talking about the rap business, you know what I'm saying, as a whole, you know what I'm saying?
Man,
You know what I'm
that's too
saying? Yep.
cool.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right, so
yeah.
you putting your own projects out,
Hmm.
and going to pop tunes, putting stuff out in consignment. So
Yeah. Now in
by the time you did
'95,
your
I took
first
my.
one,
Now hold on. Now
mm-hmm.
in '95, that first record in '90, I took it over there to Jimmy Burge and put it on consignment in Pop Tune. The second album in the first album in '92, '91, '92, I took it over there to Jimmy Burge, put it on consignment. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the second time I put I put it I took it out there to Johnny Phillips. You
Mm-hmm.
know, out there at Selecto here.
Gotcha.
Cause back in that day we always used to say, hey man, we want nationwide
Yep.
distribution.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
If you ain't had nationwide distribution, you ain't have,
You was a
you
local
ain't
joker.
have nothing.
You was a local
Yeah,
joker.
yeah. So man, and the beautiful thing about that, big up to the Burge family. Uh the beautiful thing about that, I learned how to through them, I learned how to distribute music. You know what I'm
So
saying?
you went to Jimmy. And I remember building a bond with Steve Burgess.
Uh-huh. No, I went straight to Johnny Phillips is who I went through.
No, no,
I went
I'm
straight.
talking about when dealing with pop tunes at the
Oh
time.
yeah, 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 yeah,
I
yeah.
felt
Yeah,
built a bond with
Steve and
Steve
Steve. That,
Burgess.
yeah, yeah. I work with Steve Burrs too. Yeah, at Pop Tunes. In the '90s. You know what I'm
Yep,
saying?
yep.
In the early '90s, I worked with him. But after when I put out the record in '95, I went out there to Johnny Phillips. But he was sending the records to straight to Steve Burrs, and that's a big topic. You know what I'm saying right there.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying. If you want to go into
Yeah,
that,
we
you
could
know
touch
what I'm
on that,
saying.
but before we touch on that, because I want to go back to the early '90s. So at this point, this is definitely the time where the Memphis underground rap scene was developing because you had
Yeah,
Spanish Fly putting out mixtapes and he rapping on his
yeah,
he actually putting his rap songs on his mixtapes. You
right,
got Gangsta Pat popping off. You got SMK
right,
with and Kid Money with that
right.
Gangsta Walk. You got Pretty
Yeah,
Tony with Get Buck. You got
yeah,
me with Lyrical
yeah,
Drive By and
yeah.
Ball and G.
All
It
that,
was a lot of that
man,
happening.
man. Yeah, man. Yeah.
What was going on with you when all of this was happening?
When all of that was happening in '95.
No,
I
no,
was
this
putting out.
early. We talking like between 90 and 93.
I stepped away from the rap scene,
Gotcha.
but from 92 to 95, I would still be doing it. But I was like, man, I got children now, man. I ain't finna be,
Nah,
but
that's
all the
real. That's
time,
real. That's
yeah,
real.
right,
It changes
because that
things.
was like 93. You know what I'm saying? By 93, you know what I'm saying? Met my first wife, and we was married in 94, and we was out the house, out mama house, where I had to pay my bills. So
Yeah,
like,
it's family. It's
yeah,
about family now. Ain't about
yeah,
no just out here
yeah.
trying to be no rapper no more.
But I had a studio. If you remember back in that day, because me and you started communicating back in that day.
Sure did.
I had a studio in my upstairs in my 2 bedroom townhouse. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I had a studio up there, and I had done hired a guy out of Mississippi to come and do the beats. You know what I'm saying? While I run around, and I was the jury man. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people remember. I used to go out and buy gold wholesale, and I would go to different beauty shops and and be selling my jewelry, trying to make a profit so I can pay my house note.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Ultimate hustler.
that's what I was doing at that time. But moving on to 94, 95, is when I put that record out.
So you wanted to touch on you said when you went to Selecto and then they will actually distribute it to
Yeah,
everyone else, like Pop Tunes and everyone else.
yeah, man. They hold way of doing things open up a whole different light in my mind. You know what I'm saying? Because I would be calling out to Selecto, not knowing how the business run. He said, "Hey man, I'm gonna give you a check after 30 days." You know what I'm saying? And 31 days came up. I'm like, man, where my check at? You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I mean, I done sold. You know what I'm saying? you
Mm-hmm.
know, and he'd be like, "No, we ain't got nothing for you right now." And then as time progressed, he said, "Man, you're gonna have to wait 90 days." You know what I'm saying? So I'll be mad as I'll get out of it. At John Phillips number for that. But after 120 days, he gave me a tracking report. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? Every record I had done sold, and he gave me a check for what he had sold,
Mm-hmm.
and I kept that tracking report, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I kept that tracking report, bro. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Because you
Mm-hmm.
got to realize, I wasn't just a rapper. I was a businessman.
Yep.
You know what
Yep.
I'm saying?
You were.
At 17, 18 years old, I was a businessman. You know what I'm saying? I had my own jewelry business, had people selling gold for me. So I understood profit and loss to the utmost
Mm-hmm.
at that young age.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, 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 yep.
Now that's so you said you kept that so that meant okay, I guess I know what that means. That means you knew where the product was going.
I knew where the product was going.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
knew
So
where, and I understood it. You know what I'm saying? Because I understood at that age. I understood what a one stop was. You know what
mm-hmm.
I'm saying? See, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if people know what a one stop is,
Man, I'm
but
glad you brought that up because a lot of people that word I hadn't heard that word in since then.
yeah, Pop Tunes was a one stop. That mean that you send the records to Pop Tunes, and Pop Tunes had the lock on Memphis rap. So Johnny would send a shitload of Memphis product to Pop Tunes, and Pop Tunes would sell it to every mom and pop store in Mississippi, Arkansas, in Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? Within the
Mm-hmm.
200-mile radius,
Mm-hmm.
he was selling to them stereo stores and all of them stores. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They were buying them. They were buying them from Pop Tunes because they didn't have an account with
Selecto.
Selecto hits. They
Mm-hmm.
had account with Johnny
Pop tone.
with Pop Tunes. Pop Tunes was the one stop.
Gotcha.
Another one stop at that time was uh was uh was Cats. Uh but Cats wasn't the one stop. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He's Music City was the one stop.
Okay.
You know
Yeah,
what I'm
you sure
saying?
right. You sure right.
Yeah, Music City was
Cass
the
was
one
the
stop.
chain.
Yeah, Cats was the chain. Music City They covered Sam Goodies. Uh, they covered Sam Goodies and Cats and some more of the chain stores. You know what I'm saying? Pop Tunes didn't cover the chains. Pop Tunes covered the mom and pop stores. Sam Goodies covered all of the chains. I
Well,
mean,
Music City.
Music City covered all the chain stores. And then they had another product, another person, and we became good friends. A guy named Matt down there in Gonzales. It was Gonzales Music down there in
Matt
Louisiana.
Sanzala. Matt Sanzales, something like that.
Yeah, Gonzales Music down in Louisiana, and they covered a lot of Memphis rap too, because I was like,
And in
you know,
Houston,
I'm
it was
looking on,
Southwest. It was Southwest, and
yeah,
what was Houston?
yeah, it was Southwest, but I ended up developing a real strong relationship with the head sales guy at Music City. Of course, I had a real strong relationship with Jimmy Burge over at, or Steve Burge, whichever one, at Pop Tunes, and I had a relationship with a guy named Matt A. Gonzalez.
Uh,
Them was my connects.
those some real connects. Those are plugs.
And that's all I needed,
Yep.
because later on,
There
later
we go.
I didn't know. Later on, I was about to use that.
Okay. All right, let's go there.
All right, yeah, yeah. I used that with the infamous rapper named Playa Fly.
All right, talk
Yeah,
to us. Talk to us about talk to us about this about that.
yeah. You know,
Play. Hold
when
on.
I
First and foremost, of course, Player Fly. Everybody know who Player Fly is, but we definitely got to make sure it's clear. He is definitely one of the biggest to come out the city, one of the
right,
most loved and respected, and
yeah,
you know, saying he
eh,
he represented his style and sound very well.
right. Big up to my little brother, Edmund Playa Fly. You know what I'm saying? Uh,
Little Fly at the time, then
yeah,
Player Fly.
Lil Fly. I remember taking my records into in the Jimmy Bird store and saying, "Man, how the records doing? How the records doing over there, at Pop Tune?" And at that time, Paul and them had their record out called Mystic Styles. You know what I'm saying? And I was on the business side of it, and Paul and them was a little bit too at that time. And I notice I use words like a little bit, but Paul and them took everything they had out there to to uh
Selecto.
to select those hits. And while I'm in Pop Tunes, I walk in there like I'm King Dingling. I said, "Man, my record gonna do better than DJ Paul." Miss Bird looked at me and said, "Boy, if your record do 110, if your record do 110 of what this record did, you be well." He said, "Man." He said, "Man, Paul and Juicy came in here. I mean, they put their records over there with Johnny and didn't have no more records left, and they sold every single damn record within within a day." And I had to call Selecto Johnny Jim Selecto and get them hooked up because they didn't have couldn't press up fast enough. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying? And I was like, "What?" Yeah.
Damn, damn.
and yeah, but leading up to that, back on the other subject with Fly, when we would get in the I developed a relationship. Of course, I opened up a tax business. Big up to Mo Money Taxes in '95,
Yes, sir.
and after the tax year, I went back to my rapping. But before the tax year, we be out in the streets, me and Steve A, a guy named Steve A. I developed a relationship with Steve A. And we be going up and down the
You
road
can't just
selling my
walk past it. How did y'all develop that relationship? How did that
mine,
even happen?
mine, I'm gonna tell you something. In 95, when I had my record, I needed somebody to help me to promote it because I didn't know nothing. You know what I'm saying? And and
You
and that's
understood
that's
business, but another
yeah, I
side of
didn't know
business
nothing.
is promotion, and you didn't know the
Now this
promotion
before
side of
fly
it.
now.
But I'm
This
saying,
before fly.
but you saying,
Yeah,
but
my
you,
bad. We'll come back to fly.
but
We'll come back to
yeah,
fly.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you was a
So
businessman.
I
But
was a businessman.
promotions is different, a little different. But it's a
Yeah,
part of business. But it's different.
yeah, yep. But so I didn't know nothing about the record stores and where they was and things of that nature. And I can't remember vaguely. You know how I ended up running up on Steve A. I'm finna hit you with a body blow.
Okay,
I had uh I had uh I had developed a relationship with a guy named Dizzy D.
man, my DJ dude.
Yeah.
Dizzy was my DJ at the time.
Yeah, man. Some kind of way we ended up talking on the phone, and he told me about a guy named Steve A was a good promoter. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And he gave me Steve A number. Needless to say, Steve A was right down the street from Mo Money Taxes. You know what I'm saying? So
Wow. Shout out to Dizzy D though.
yeah, yeah. So I ended up going over to Steve A house and meeting him, and he was like, "Well, man, I'm gonna charge you this, that, and the third, and we gonna hit the road, and we can hit the road as soon as tomorrow." You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so when tomorrow came, we started hitting the road, and me and Steve A would drive down 61. You know what I'm saying? And I would be, put hanging my posters on the different record stores and stereo stores and doing different consignments in Mississippi. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
With different stereo shops. You know what I'm saying? And then we come back, and then so Steve A come up with an idea. He was like, man, these folk got these tapes in these record stores. He'd be like, man, Pop Tunes making a killing off of this shit. And he's like, man, I'm finna call all them artists myself.
Y'all gonna be
He's
the
like,
distributors, huh?
yeah, man, he was like, man, he was like, forget Pop Tunes. I'm gonna undercut them $1. And and I'm a, and we ended up getting in contact with Skinny Pimp. At the time, a cat was out named Young Low. We go off
Mm-hmm.
7th Street and get
Mm-hmm.
Young Low
Shout out
tapes.
to Young Low,
Yeah, yeah.
7th
But
Street
but
bound.
but it was something peculiar about this situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I can put it out there. I ain't scared.
Mm.
We would go, we would meet Paul and Juicy, and we buy Mystic Styles underground tape.
Mm.
But guess who else tape they had? Lil Fly.
Mm. Mm.
They would look. Paul and Juicy was distributing Triple Bitch Mafia by none other than Lil Fly.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
We were
wild.
trying to find Lil Fly, but we couldn't find him. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
We couldn't find him.
Yeah.
So Paul and Juicy was like, man, I got 1,000 of these things. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can give me, blase a piece, and y'all can have them. You know what I'm saying? And and uh and needless to say, we take Little Fly tapes, and man, Little Fly tapes was selling more than any of it. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody takes. You know what
Wow.
I'm saying?
Wow.
So after the tax season, Steve A called and said, man, guess who I done hooked up? He said, man, I done messed around and hooked up with Lil Fly. And I was like, what the hell?
Damn. Damn. Damn.
What the hell? I dropped everything. And I was like, man, where you at right now? Where you at right now? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm remembering like the and you gotta bear in mind that I was in contact with Gonzalez, Music City,
Mm-hmm.
and 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 Pop Tunes. And while I'm talking to Gonzalez, they would ask me, "Hey man, you heard of some rapper named Lil Fly?
Mm.
You can never get in on his product. Let me know." So I
Mm.
always kept that in the back of my eye, guys. You know what I'm saying? But I knew I had the bootleg Triple Bitch Mafia, but I ain't had no more product on him. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I knew Steve A was doing this, so I was like, I ain't gonna be trying to send him that. You know what I'm saying? But
Mm.
we ended up, but 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 long and short, you know what I'm saying? when I ended up meeting Fly, uh, I met him over at his house over there in South Memphis, and he was in there beating on this drum machine, saying he gonna come out with a record. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, that's man, that's pretty cool. You know, that's pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know him that well, so I'm just trying to get in where I fit in. You know what I'm saying? But I was really like, man, you need to put that up, bro, and write some raps, man. You ain't
Damn.
that good beating on the drum machine,
Damn.
but uh, but I wasn't gonna tell him that. So one particular night we ended up going to Archibald Studio. You know what I'm saying? Archibald Studio. And I said, man,
And
I'm a
Archibald
just
is
Willie Mitchell's son. You know what I'm saying?
so this
Willie
is at
Mitchell
Royal.
Studios.
This is at Royal
Yeah,
Studio.
yeah, over there at Royal Studio. You know what I'm saying? We end up going over there. And uh and I said, man, I'm gonna tag along with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, K, you know, you can tag along. I wasn't tagging along to rap. I was just tagging along. No agendas at all. You know what I'm saying? Just tagging along. So I said, man,
No agenda other
so
than to get in where you fit in because
yeah, man,
you
just man,
knew
I
you
just
know how
wanted to
them
be a
tapes were
part of what he
selling.
was finna do because I knew he was finna take off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I knew he finna take off. I just want to be a part of it. I just want to be his friend, be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want no money off of it. I don't want nothing. You know what I'm saying? I just want to be cool with this dude because
Yeah.
I know he fits to take off.
Yeah.
He don't know it, but I knew it. You know what I'm saying? And I said, so that one particular night, Fly had played his 3 tracks that he had done made with his drum machine, and he rapped. And he rapping, he just a rapping, and such, just a rapping, just a rap, just a rap. And so later on that night, I hung out a little bit. Later on that night, he come a
This at Archibald.
18
This at
at
Archibald.
Archibald Studio.
Okay, gotcha.
Later on that night, later on that night, a, a young cat come in there, 18 years old, with a keyboard. And I'm like, oh hell, maybe he been beating like Fly. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just gonna hang out. And that young man put that damn beat in there, and that beat got the dum the dum dum the dum the dum the dum. And Archie got over there and said, "Chicken, chicken, now I got you hot, but this player shit will never end." And he got the scratching with the damn keyboard, and that young man played that track on top of it. And I told Fly, I said, "Nigga, you fat." This cat need to make every single track on your album. I said, man, you about to mess up. You been on the drum machine and you got this cat playing the beat. You know what I'm saying? What's his name? And his name was Blackout.
Wow.
That was Blackout.
Wow.
And so from there, you know, of course, I didn't have the right to fly at that time. You know, I wasn't even hired. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't even hired yet. But I was like, man, I left the studio that night and I told Fly, I said, man, I want you to have a good project and I don't want nothing off of it. I said, I'm gonna call Sid in the morning and Steve A and them in the morning and tell them that I'm gonna manage your whole project for free and I don't want nothing off of it. You know what I'm saying? I want zero off of it. You know what I'm saying? I
So at
don't
that
want to
point,
make
he had
no money.
already signed with Sig.
He was already with Sid.
Gotcha.
Yep. Yep. He was already with
Super
Sid.
Sig Records for
Super
anybody that's
X.
listening out of
Yeah.
Tunica, Mississippi, right?
Yeah, yep, out of Tunica, Mississippi. Right. So he was like, yeah, I said, man, I'm gonna manage you for free. I don't want nothing off of the deal. You know what I'm saying? Nothing. I don't want zero. No, and that was real. You know what I'm saying? And from there, I said, well, I ain't know Archibald and them as well. So I said, man, I just got one thing I want you to do. I want to record you at Fritos. I said, nothing against Archibald, but my relationship is with Rusty over there at
Shout out to
Fritos.
Rusty
You know what I'm
Betts.
saying? Yeah. I
Fritos
said,
was
I
the
said,
spot.
and that's matter of fact, that's why I met Dizzy D at over there at Rusty's.
That
You know
makes
what I'm
sense because
saying?
that's why I used to record with Rusty. And Dizzy
You see
was
what I'm
my
saying?
DJ at the time, so that makes sense.
Right there you go. So yeah, I recommended. I set the meeting up. And they said, "Well, shoot, you don't want nothing off us? You go right ahead." And I wasn't trying to run things. I was just trying to make sure that he had a good project. And I told Black Ass, man, I want you to do all of the songs on his album. You know what I'm saying? On his album. I said, man, you do this. I said, man, you gonna be one of the wellest known producers, in the city. You know what I'm saying? Not in the city, around this area, this tri-state area. You know what I'm saying? And and months later, afterwards, we created Fly Shit. You know what I'm saying? That's the very first Playa Fly album. Now, after we created the album, everything is done now. Not only was I managing it, but I kept up with every single dollar that was spent. You know what I'm saying? Because Sig would give me the money, and I would pay the producers, pay the studio, pay everything. The I bought the posters, I bought every single thing while he was recording, managing the whole ordeal. You know what I'm saying? Then after that, I asked Sid and them where they was going with the record, and they said they were going to Johnny Phillips. And remember, I told you previously that I had kept their tracking report, right?
Yep. Yep.
So when he said that, I kept one in the hole. I said that might be a good idea. I said, man, I'm gonna call you in 24 hours before you take this record over there to Johnny Phillips. I'm gonna call you in 24 hours. So I went home and I got on the phone. I called Matt over there at Gonzalez. I called Music City, and I called uh, Steve Bird, and I said, man, how many of these things y'all want to order? You know what I'm saying? How many? If I told you I had Little Fly, Player Fly, how many you want to order? And I said, now Johnny Phillips gonna take 90 days to get me a check. If I send you this product as early as tomorrow, when can I get a check? They said, man, you can get a check COD because dude gonna sell off the shelf.
Woo. Woo. Wow.
so 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 then I set up the meeting with Fly and Sig, and I became the distribution manager for the record label because I distributed all of the tapes. That cat had done sold $100,000 worth of product on day one.
Damn.
Yep, day one, $100,000 worth of product. Day
Damn.
one. So all the checks, of course, was coming back to my address. So I'm meeting Sig, he in his Rolls Royce. He he come down with a wad of cash and give me my share and say, now you get this to Ibn. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
we give Ibn his share. And man, we did that for 6 months, man. We made good money with Player Fly, and he did as well. Yep,
Oh,
yep,
that's
yep.
that's that's again. It came back to the fact that you kept the tracking reports, and
Right,
you had established relationships with the one stops.
right,
And when that
right,
opportunity, when you saw the situation with Fly, it just put him right into,
right,
plugged him right into a network that you already had, kind of,
right.
you already had set
Yep.
up, and it sounded
Yeah,
like it worked out beautifully for everyone, especially
yeah,
COD. Man,
yeah. It was COD, bro. Wasn't no 30 days. You know what I'm saying?
woo!
I would go over to the UPS over there off of what is it, Carrier Road over there off of Mill Brent, somewhere down over in there, and ship them tapes UPS. You know what I'm
Man,
saying?
I know that was an exciting feeling doing
Yeah,
that like that at that time.
yeah,
Like, man, we really we
yeah,
no, we getting
yeah,
these type of these are real big boy orders,
yeah.
and we
Big
getting to the
boys,
money
man.
like
Big
right away.
man, right away, bro. Wasn't no wait. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't, and I tell him, and I was a straight up and up guy. Hey man, you make this check out to Van Siggers or Sig Ruckus, and I told Mr. Siggers, you know, you need to get your account, man, cause and put Super Sig on there,
Yeah.
cause Doc, you finna get some checks.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? And he was well off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you
He
say he
put
pulled up
in
in a Rolls
50,000.
Royce.
Yeah, with $50,000 and the gal on the side. I'm like, man, you know, you know,
He the main. He the main. So
yeah,
he was
man.
pretty much the main in Tunica back at the end of the day.
Yeah, he was the main in Tunica. And at the time, you know, I had done a tax season. I owned a little restaurant called Freezeway, and he pull up at Freezeway, you know what I'm saying? And I call Fly and tell him to come down and get his money, you know what I'm saying? And shoot, man, we did that for months and months and months at a time. And
So
the
what's your
following year,
relationship with? Of course, getting money like that. How's Fly? What I'm saying, responding to you at this point, and feeling how is he feeling about working with you?
oh shoot, at that point. Shit, he was happy as a kid. Kid with lollipops, man. Shoot.
Obviously, I know
He
that.
was young. He was like 19, 20 years old, man, getting $25,000 checks and shit.
Yeah,
Man, come on, man.
yeah,
Shit.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he was super the duper the dopper the like, man, K, you the savior.
Dig. That's love
and
though. I'm glad
and
to hear that
and
story.
and everybody big up the SPV, SPL, you know what I'm saying? That's how the relationship between me and them cats over there, you know what I'm saying? That's why I'm good when I'm in the hood, you know what I'm saying? Cause they saw, that I was 100, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Put they hood on the map, you know what I'm saying, through Fly. And I remember picking up Gangster Black
I
and
was about
saying
to
we
ask
gonna go
you.
to
I was just
yeah,
about
we
to
gonna
ask you
go.
about that.
Yeah, I picked him up, you know what I'm saying, and we went and took him to the studio with us, and all three of us wrote our rap. You know what I'm saying, and we done a song. What's that song? I can't remember the song. It's on Playa Fly album, but it's uh
I remember that
one of
song. I mean, I don't remember the name of it, but I remember because I remember
yeah.
I was like, damn, Icy K on this song.
Yeah. I rapped and then and I mean and black rapped and you know what I'm saying. Having things. What's the name of the song? Having things.
Okay,
It's on
okay.
that Player Fly album. Icy K, Gangsta Black, Player Fly. You know what I'm saying? Having things. That's the first trio that I had done. You know what I'm saying? With anybody. And then we came back the following night, and we came back the following night, and we done that song called "Blow My Mind." You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Now that song was crazy because Fly used to have like 50 people in the studio while we rapping. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, man, that particular night, he said, anybody want to rap, they can rap tonight.
Mm. He's like,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, I'm it's on.
I don't care what kind of walk of life they was in. They was gonna rap that night. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And all his partners and stuff rapped and me and Rusty had to put that shit together. But I remember Fly walking in there and said, man, y'all pick numbers. Everybody pick numbers. It's 19 of y'all. Y'all pick numbers. You know what I'm saying? So everybody picked the number after hat and me and Gangsta Black was right behind each other. That's why after that on that song, after I say my verse, Black come back and he say back to back another night.
Mm.
Smoking, choking, yeah, that's right.
Mm.
Player, motivator, still his song, roll it tight.
Mm.
Cause,
Nice.
cause the
That's
night
cool.
before that we did having things.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, that's too cool. That's too cool. All right,
Yep,
so
yep,
y'all
yep.
winning right now. You said the first 6 months y'all was going, what I'm saying, y'all was going directly to the one stop. So what happened
Right.
after that?
After that, later on in the album, you know what I'm saying, the tax season was getting ready to start back, and I was like, man, I ain't gonna be able to distribute like I did. I did set you up a nice tracking, you know what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
report, and I stepped away from it, you know what I'm saying, and at the time, more money taxes was getting ready to take off. Well, no way I'm finna be in no rapping.
Yeah.
Cause I, cause shoot, man, we was getting ready to take off,
And y'all did.
and we did.
And y'all more money taxes was
Yeah.
the
So 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 so
the OGs of the independent tax
Tax
services.
guy. Yeah, right. And I had a relationship with Johnny Phillips, even though he was mad at me. You know what I'm saying? He was like, man, why you do me like that? You know what I'm saying, man? You could at least gave me the product. And I was like, man, I ain't had no bone with you, It's just that at the time it just wasn't a good idea. I said,
COD.
but yeah, I said, cause we were getting COD. I said, now after this one, I said, but the following year came and I sit down with him. He said, man, you didn't give me the product the last time. I said, but look at this, man. I got another business, so I ain't gonna be able to do it. So you about to have the product moving forward. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
The rest of the years, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
we shook hands, made up, and and I and I want to say after that, he distributed for Sig another 3-4 years with Johnny Phillips. You know what I'm saying? And I
Gotcha.
stepped away and took off with the tax business.
Ah, okay, okay, okay. All right.
Hmm.
So at that point, you focus on the tax business. Is blowing up. Everybody talking about it in the city and beyond.
Right.
So when did you get back into the music? When did you start focusing back on the music? Was that
I
when?
had a
Was the reason why I asked that? Is that when you decided
right.
to start pushing Scat Cat?
Yeah, bingo. I knew you were leading up to that. And so 5 years in it, you know what I'm saying? I was well, you know what I'm saying? And I had a brother I grew up with, you know what I'm saying, 20 years or more, big up to 20 years or more, you know what I'm saying? And 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 he was rapping, you know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, he rapped on Gangsta Pat's second album, known as The Villain,
He
you
was
know
the
what I'm
villain,
saying?
exactly.
He
And
was
let
the
me
villain,
get a
you know
little
what
more
I'm saying?
history on Scat Cat. Scat Cat actually was in a group with my cousins in Insane Maine back when they were like teenagers, and they
Right.
used to call themselves YBR. So it was
Yeah.
Scat, the Insane Maine, and the Taylor Boys. They was known as
Right.
YBR when they were teenagers. But
All
now
right.
we fast, like you said, he ended up
But here's
doing.
here's the kicker with Scat Cat.
Okay,
My relationship with him is deeper than that.
yeah, yeah.
You remember when I was telling you we were beating on the drums and singing the harmonica and doing all of that? Look, little did we know, 3 doors down was Melvin, aka Scat Cat.
Wow, three doors down. So,
3 doors
and
down.
we going back now.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's how
yeah.
far y'all
So
go back.
yeah. That's how far we go. You know what I'm saying? I was like 9 and Scat Cat was like 7. And he used to be at the door. We'd be like, you too young. You can't rap. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And as time progressed, I was the rapper in the neighborhood. They wasn't thinking about no rapping. You know what I'm saying? I was the rapping. And as we got older, he said, man, I used to like how, the girls in the hood used to like how you on man was rapping, man. And I wanted to rap. You know what I'm saying? And he ended up rapping. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now here's another kicker with a person what people don't know. In that same neighborhood, right next door, was the infamous Tiny Man.
Damn.
Yep. Tiny Man.
Yes,
Tiny
sir.
Man the
Yes, sir.
leprechaun.
Shout out to
You know what
Tiny
I'm
Man.
saying?
One of the
Yeah,
coldest to
he
do it too.
yeah, exactly. I always tell my little brothers, when y'all ever get big, and if you ever get big, you better tell them folks y'all got rapping from me. You know what I'm
Both
saying?
there. Both there.
This cat was 3 doors down, and Tiny Man was right next door. You know
Damn.
what I'm saying? Big
Damn.
up to Tiny Man. And he ended up hooking up with Zerk, and they ended up doing their thing. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Damn, that's dope.
Yep, yep,
That's dope.
yeah,
All right,
yep.
so now, like I said, after the whole fly situation, you back on your taxes, things blowing up.
Right,
Now
right.
you go back and pull. Well, you are
Cat
familiar
cat.
with the
Right.
fact that Scat Cat
Yeah,
had built
yeah,
his
yeah,
name up with
yeah,
Gangsta
yeah,
Pat as the villain on
yeah. Right,
The
right.
Deadly Verses album and Sex Money and Murder album.
Right. And you remember you know it's deeper than that because I was doing the taxes, so I was known as a businessman. Well, I called you and I was like, man, I really need you. You know what I'm saying? I
Yep,
need you to pose as me. You
yep,
know what I'm
yep.
saying?
You did,
Because I
you
didn't want
did.
no. I didn't want my name mixed in the rap business because I was in the business community. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But
I
we,
remember.
but
Hey, I
we,
remember meeting you and your wife at the time at the, I forgot what restaurant. It was some kind
right.
of soul food type of restaurant. I
Yep,
remember.
yep, yep.
No, you. I remember that conversation.
Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure, man. So, man, thank you for being a part of my life. You know what I'm saying? At that time, man.
Thank you
Me
for
and you
allowing
always
me
have
to.
been 100, bro. You
Thank
know
you.
what I'm saying?
Thank you for allowing me to.
Yeah, exactly. And y'all made that hot stone strike a pose. You know what I'm
All right,
saying?
Jose, slow down, cause
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Let me start right here. What made y'all decide to? Cause the villain name was popping. You know what I'm saying? Based on what he had did with Gangsta Pat. What made y'all decide to change it from the villain to Scat Cat?
I didn't change his name. Uh, Scat Cat got a story that he say now. Now I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
I already.
I mean,
Hey, I got to talk to
Scat Cat
Scat
got
now.
his own,
I mean, I got
yeah,
to talk
yeah,
to him
he got
anyway,
his
but I
own
really got to talk to
sensitive
him now.
story that he say that's why he changed his name, and I don't want to speak on it. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
I think I know
saying?
what you're talking about, but okay, I'm with you.
yeah,
I'm with you.
yeah,
I'm with you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's a crazy story. And he said, "Hey, I'm gonna be Scat Cat." Now, I was like, "Well, okay, then that's what you gonna be." You know what I'm saying? So,
All right,
yeah,
so you getting behind Scat Cat? You have reached out to me to help us assist with making sure
right,
things go get done at the studio at the time. You had the
right.
built the studio across right next door to Mo Money, Texas, and
Mhm.
so Scat Cat doing
Now,
this thing.
but you know what other hot song came out that studio? Huh?
What?
Shoot, man, the Kinfolk does dump truck.
Okay, okay.
yeah,
And we were gonna get there. Hey, I was trying to get.
yeah, yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
you
yeah,
jumped too
yeah, yeah. Them,
fast, man. Hey, you
yeah,
jumped too fast.
my bad,
I
yeah.
was trying to build up to that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
thought you
yeah,
about to
right,
name something else, but
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
was
yeah,
gonna.
yeah.
And but you know what? There was the whole point. I was the thing was that you got behind Scat Cat, and
Right,
I was gonna ask while you was getting behind Scat Cat, and I was there assisting, and
right.
I do remember Time Bomb and GC
GC,
being
yeah.
Scat Cat's proteges. So
Right, there you go.
how
Uh-huh.
did and and of course Dump Truck is legendary right now, but
Right.
like you just said, how did that even? We know that
How did
there,
that come about?
yeah, there was Scat Cat
Ti-
proteges, but they are coming
yeah,
to the studio and
time bomb is my nephew. You know what I'm saying?
okay,
Time
okay,
Bomb is my nephew. You know what I'm saying? It's basically Scat Cat's sister's son. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying? And we all come up in the hood together. So we don't call each other friends. We brothers. You know what I'm saying? So if we brothers and your sister have a baby, that mean that's gonna be my nephew. And I got a ton of them. I call them young babies.
gotcha, gotcha,
On Scat Cat side, you know what I'm saying? And Time Bomb is my nephew, and the GC, of course, is my nephew as well. And they would come in the studio and help with the Scat Cat album. You know what I'm saying? They would
gotcha.
come in there and help with the Scat Cat album, and uh and it and from my understanding, because I remember vaguely, you know what I'm saying, uh Lil Chicken was one of the
Mm-hmm.
producers
Mm-hmm.
behind the Scat Cat project. Him
Chicken and Young
and Big
LC.
and Young LC would sweat the track. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Yep.
They did all the tracks on Scat Cat album with the exception of the one that Carlos Brody. Big up to Carlos
Hold
Brody,
up.
6 July.
Hold up. Slow down. That was me and
Yeah.
Brody.
Right, right. Oh, okay. You and
I
Brody. Okay.
originally came up with it. You talking about that the OJ one, right?
Yeah,
I
uh-huh.
came up with it, and
Okay.
then Carlos, finished it basically.
There you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was out the loop, man. I was just showing up, man. Wish y'all got done.
But yeah, no, I remember
yeah,
being in
yeah,
there,
yeah,
and I was listening to
yeah,
that OJ's, and I remember hearing that, and for some reason that part looped in my mind. Do 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 do
yeah,
do do boom boom boom, and I was like, man, that sounds so hard. So I looped
yeah,
it, put the beat to
yeah,
it, and just basically sampled the OJ's She's Only a Woman. Scat Cat
Yeah,
immediately dropped the lyrics on it, and when y'all went and
yeah.
got it the full album mixed and mastered the right way,
Right,
Brody,
right.
that's when Brody took over, and
That's when Brody showed up.
yeah,
Showed did.
he
My
came
bad.
in
My
to
bad.
put the
Yeah.
polish on it, and he did,
Yeah, there you go.
and he did.
There you go.
He
Showed
added the
did.
singer on there. I didn't have the singer on there at the time.
Right, right, right. My bad, guy. My bad. My bad. My bad,
See,
man.
hey,
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of people don't know that it's a lot of stuff that I produce, and I never tried to take credit as being a producer. I always try to stay in the rapper lane, but
Right,
but I produce a lot of songs, you know what I'm saying? But I never really
right.
took credit as being a producer.
It's all good, bro. That's
So it's
that's
all
the
good.
humbleness of you, man. That's why you Al Capone Bailey, man. That's why you the boss of all this stuff, man.
Hey, whatever you say, man. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
appreciate it.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right, so let's get back
Yeah.
to so Scat Cat, you know what I'm saying? You got behind Scat Cat,
Mm.
and then this song came about, Strike a Pose. That
Right,
really
right.
was getting, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It was doing this,
yeah,
it was making some noise.
yeah. Exactly, exactly,
That
exactly.
featured
Yeah.
me and Kenfo. Was Kenfo Thugs on that one?
No, they wasn't on that one. That was just you and Scat Cat
Okay,
on Strike
gotcha,
a Pole.
gotcha, gotcha. I'm gonna tell you what it
Uh-huh.
was. GC came up with the chorus,
Yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
I think y'all said that I should do the chorus,
Yeah.
but he came up with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I just kind
Yeah.
of I re-rapped the chorus that he came up
Hey,
with,
big,
and then
big up,
I
big up
wrote
to
my
my
own verse.
nephew GC. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
GC
Big
is a
up to my nephew GC,
phenomenal
man. He,
writer.
man, he the hook man. You know what I'm saying?
Phenomenal.
I always be like, man, you the hook man. You the hook man. You
Yeah,
need a hook, call GC, boy.
yeah, yeah. He's phenomenal, and of course,
Yeah,
Time Bomb is just amazing
yeah,
with the penmanship. You know what I'm saying? He just
exactly, man.
the
Together, man.
ultimate
I
player.
told him,
He's the
man.
ultimate
Yeah.
player.
Yeah, man, they doing their thing, man. I'm proud of them, and proud to be a part. You know what I'm saying? At the beginning of what they had going on, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just the older man sitting back looking at all of my fruit. You know what I'm
Yes, sir.
saying?
Yes, sir. Real talk. Real talk. Real talk.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Well, listen,
yeah,
man. If there's anything else you want to add, because I think if I'm missing anything after that, you know what I'm saying, you could speak on it.
yeah. Oh man, just I'm glad you had me to speak my piece on the rap era in the city.
Because
You
you
know
are
what I'm
one of the
saying?
pioneers, man. And a
Yeah,
lot
man.
of
I
people,
appreciate it, man.
they
I
need to know
appreciate it,
this.
bro. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I appreciate it, man. Come from you, man. It means a lot, man. You make the old man want to shed one or two. You know what I'm saying?
Now, hey, man, listen, I'm more than happy because, normally when people bring up the Memphis rap scene, they
Mhm.
just bring up the obvious names,
Right,
or they'll just bring up the most popular names. Sometimes they
right,
leave some of
right,
our names out. You know what I'm saying? They just go
right.
straight
Yeah,
to, you know what I'm saying, the
yeah.
who the biggest of the big is, and I'm always
Right.
like, they
Yeah,
just don't know that
yeah,
all
man.
is so many
All
that
of
that
us
help
played a
pave the
made a
way.
made an impact.
Yes, sir.
All of us made an impact, and
Yes, sir.
I remember Mario. You know what I'm saying? Not to get back all the way in it when Yo Gotti came out with his rap. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The same girl that was doing his flyers. Big up to Katina. She
Yes.
was part of his. She was
So
part of his era,
damn.
and
Hey man, thank you for
yeah,
bringing
yeah.
up Katina.
Yeah, yeah, man. She was part of his era, but she was doing the graphic artwork for
Sure
me and Mo
was.
Money.
Sure
And
was.
I was and when I did Scat Cat, I called her and I hooked up with Mario, and I did a few shows with Yo Gotti. And if you remember when we used to have the Mo Money tent at the Southern Heritage Classic,
Mm-hmm.
before Yo Gotti got got big,
Mm-hmm.
he used to be up under our tent every year. You know what I'm saying? Rapping up under our tent every year because we
Wow.
had K97 under our tent. You know
See,
what I'm saying?
you got to speak
Yeah,
on that, man. That's
yeah,
legendary. You know what I'm saying? That's something
yeah,
that
yeah,
if you wouldn't
yeah,
say it, nobody would say
yeah.
it. what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
see that's why me I got a good relationship with Gotti and Grip, you know what I'm saying, and Pepper and all of them, you know what I'm saying, cause I was 100 when they was doing their thing, and remember we did the car show over there at Club No Nothing with big
Yep.
up to John Disco Hound,
Yep.
and I brought Gotti out there. You know what I'm saying? I brought Gotti out at the car show over there with uh
Yes, sir.
with John Disco Hound. You know what I'm saying?
Shout
So
out to my guy Disco Hound. I got an interview with him, and he broke down a
yeah,
lot of the early,
mm,
pre Memphis rap scene. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
yeah, shout out to Hound Dog.
Yeah, for sure, man. But other than that, man, shoot, man, I can stop right there, man. Man, shoot, we be talking for days, man. I'm just speaking the history on what part I played in it. Kind of like the businessman that I am. You know what I'm saying? Laid back in the cut. You know what I'm saying? Never
Hmm.
was one of them big star names like
But played a
some people
huge
would say.
part
Yeah,
of
yeah,
some
but
of those star
planting my
names.
seeds and yeah, planting my seeds with some of these cats. You know what I'm saying? And man, and much power, man, to what you're doing, man, and thank you for doing what you're doing with it, man, and much success to it.
All right, my
Uh,
guy. Well, listen, shout out to my guy Icy K. You know what I'm
yo,
saying, and everything that he's done, and I predict there's some more things that's gonna come, and that it is some other things. You know what I'm saying, because he has a son that has been, doing some things too, just for this whole new young generation. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah. Big up to my son, ATM Rich baby. You know what I'm saying? He doing his thing, and y'all check that out. ATM Rich baby.
And there it is. So we'll
Yeah.
leave it at the new generation that's
All right.
making phenomenal moves these days. The internet has blown up this new generation in a way that we could have never seen in those early days. And it's,
For
I'm
sure,
like
for
you. I'm
sure.
sitting back and loving and watching.
Mm.
Saying that the Memphis rap scene is getting a level of respect that we never got from the nationwide rap community and the worldwide rap community. We getting it in a way that we never did before. Not only with the young generation, but also with the '90s rap scene. So
Yeah, for
it's a
sure.
cool time to just watch all of this. Be alive to be able to
Yeah,
say
for sure.
we was there in the beginning and now we're watching it, become bigger than ever.
There you go, bro.
All right,
All right.
man. I'm about this Johnny. It's Al Capone, Al
All right.
Capone. Oh boy,
Peace, love, and happiness.
yes sir. You
Yeah.
sucker MCs. And that was a fire interview, man. You know what I'm saying? From my guy. Shout out to Icy K, man. 20 years and more. You hear me? Shout out to them, man. That whole camp, they always show me love, and I appreciate them. And fire interview, man. You know what I'm saying? You might have to look at this one again because he dropped so many good jewels in there. And again, this concludes another edition of Memphis Rap History with your guy Al Capone, Al Capeasy. Oh boy, check me out next Sunday, 2:30. It goes down just like this here. Oh boy.